Coming up on Vegas Nation Blitz, booed off the field. Was the Raiders' loss to the Colts the boiling point?
And for that to be the result of all that effort pisses me off.
We'll break down the emotions from Sunday's game right now on Vegas Nation Blitz.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Welcome into Vegas Nation Blitz. I'm your host, Cassie Soto. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr was unable to contain his emotions following the team's 25-20 loss to the Colts on Sunday.
I'm just pissed off about some of the things, that a lot of us try and do just to practice what we put our bodies through just to sleep at night. And for that to be the result of all that effort pisses me off. Pisses a lot of guys off. It's hard knowing what some guys are doing. Like I said, just to practice what they're putting in their body just to sleep at night. Like just so we could be there for each other. And I wish everybody in that room felt the same way about this place. And as a leader, that pisses me off, if I'm being honest.
For more on Derek Carr's reaction, let's get to our top stories brought to you by Capriati's. Make your game day extraordinary with Capriati's. Order now. Las Vegas Review-Journal sports columnist Ed Graney joining me now. Ed, let's go ahead and start with the emotions of quarterback Derek Carr following the team's loss. We heard in that last clip there that he said, "I wish everybody felt the same way about this place." At this point in the season, a 2-7 record, do you think that we are seeing a defeated Derek Carr, or was it really just the emotions of Sunday that all culminated and he just couldn't hold back?
I think the emotion has a lot to do with it. I also think he's been around for 9 years and has really seen everything in this organization and so desperately wants to win and so desperately loves this organization that when things don't go well, the emotions just come out. I had not seen him be that emotional. I don't think any of us had, Cassie. But when you look back at how they lost, who they lost to, 9 years of mostly losing, not getting to the playoffs except for 2 times. One, he couldn't play because he was hurt. I think it all kind of just boiled up inside of him. We know he had other comments about people on the team and how committed they really were to this, and compared to guys who put their bodies through strain and take things at night just to go to sleep. So I think it was all encompassing thing that came into him, and he just lost it there emotionally when he started talking about things.
Head coach Josh McDaniels has obviously gotten a lot of criticism for this 2-7 record, but someone that isn't blaming him is Raiders owner Mark Davis. You recently spoke with him and wrote an article for the Las Vegas Review-Journal where Davis told you that he thinks Josh McDaniels is doing a fantastic job. Can you please just take us into that conversation with Raiders owner Mark Davis?
Yeah, I want to put it in context. He said he was doing a fantastic job based on where they came from and based on where they're going. They had John Gruden last year, as he said, 10-year contract, 10-year plan. Well, then Gruden was gone. So what do you have to do? You kind of have to start over. You name Rich Bisaccia an interim head coach. You don't bring him back at the end of the year. That's Mark Davis's prerogative. He's the owner. He brings in a new coach in Josh McDaniels. So now in his mind, they're going to rebuild in the form of Josh McDaniels, and it's going to take some time. So I think when he said he's doing a fantastic job, it was more about, look, he's doing a fantastic job given from what happened last year to where they are now. And I think that's kind of where that phrase came from. But he is behind him. He does like him. He's getting to know him better. They meet after every game. Josh McDaniels is going to be the coach of this team for the foreseeable future. It doesn't matter what their record is this year. Mark Davis has committed to him and to Dave Ziegler, and those are the two guys who are going to be running this team this year into next year and possibly beyond.
Well, if Josh McDaniels isn't going anywhere for the foreseeable future, Ed, what happens next for the Raiders? How do they turn things around, or at this point, are they just preparing for 2023?
Well, I think behind the scenes, they're preparing for 2023, which they have to do because of the draft and to see where and who they might get to improve. Players in that locker room are going to play as hard as they can. They're going to want to win games. They don't care about draft picks. They don't care about who might be their quarterback in the draft. That's the last thing they care about. This is their livelihood. This is what they play for. They put their bodies through what they do on a weekly basis. So I think they're going to work as hard as they can to win games. I don't know how many that's going to be. 2-7, long shot at any kind of playoff. But I think they're going to try to win as many games as they can this year, led by that coaching staff. Of course, the people behind the scene, the scouts, Dave Ziegler and others, they have to evaluate who they have this year, know who they want to bring back, know what they want to get in the draft, and then move forward. But you know what? That's every team in the NFL. Everyone's always got a portion of people working on the next year, looking ahead, what can make them better. And the Raiders are in no different position.
Around the League, brought to you by South Point Sportsbook. Download the app at southpointsports.com. It's Heidi Fang here with Adam Hill, everybody, and we're going to break down one of the key matchups happening Sunday night around the league, Chargers, Chiefs. Adam, this one should be a real interesting game considering that these are the two teams atop the AFC West.
Yeah, no question. Going into the year, a lot of people talked highly of the AFC West, and a lot was because of these two teams who most people, including me, picked to be 1 and 2 in the division. It hasn't really been that much of a race because the Chiefs have been so good and exceeding even their high expectations. The Chargers have fallen a little bit short. So right now, the Chargers are in kind of do or die mode. If they can't win this game, the Chiefs are going to really put a stamp on this division and almost have it put away this early in the year. The Chargers have to put some pressure on the Chiefs. They have to win this game. If not, it's going to be another walk to a division title in the AFC West for the Chiefs.
When everybody was projecting early on what would come of these two teams, Adam, things have kind of shaken out a lot differently than expectations. What are your keys to this game?
Yeah, look, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and he lost Tyreek Hill. A lot of people said, will he still be just as good? Yeah, he's just as good. All these other quarterbacks have kind of made runs, and, Josh Allen was a trendy pick for the MVP. Jalen Hurts had some talk, Lamar Jackson, and you get right through the middle of the season, and right now you look at the odds board, Patrick Mahomes, a massive favorite to win MVP in the NFL once again, just like he is every single year. And he's doing the same thing despite who the receivers are. It doesn't really matter. He's making guys around him better. And you're seeing that this year with him and Andy Reid doing their magic, of course, with Travis Kelce at tight end as well. So they're really, really good. But the keys of the game, of course, you got to try to slow them down. So if you're the Chargers, you invested heavily in the defense, you invested in your pass rush. Those guys have to get after Mahomes. You have to put pressure on him. You have to make things difficult for him. And if they don't, it's going to be an easy game for Mahomes and the Chiefs. The other one is health, and that's an obvious one as well. But Keenan Allen really hasn't played a whole lot this year. We saw him got hurt in week 1 against the Raiders. He tried to come back for just a couple of snaps a couple weeks ago. If he is close to healthy and can go, that's a big factor on the offense for the Chargers. And then Mike Williams, who has been out a couple weeks as well. The Chargers have not had either of their top receivers, had relied a lot on Joshua Palmer and DeAndre Carter. But if Mike Williams is back as well with Keenan Allen, that could be a much more formidable opponent for the Chiefs.
Multiple players popping up on the Raiders injury report this week as the team prepares to face the Denver Broncos on Sunday, starting with running back Amir Abdullah. He did not participate in practice on Wednesday, neither did running back Brandon Bolden or cornerback Rock Ya-Sin. Limited in practice on Wednesday were wide receiver Davante Adams, linebacker Luke Masterson, tackle Colton Miller, linebacker Denzel Perryman, and cornerback Sam Webb. For more Raiders injury updates and news leading up to Sunday's game, head on over to vegasnation.com.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler, the perfect bridge between internet pricing and a traditional brick-and-mortar jewelry store. We specialize in loose diamonds, natural and lab-grown, engagement rings, fashion jewelry, custom design, and jewelry repairs. We operate by appointment in our beautiful offices in the One Summerlin building, downtown Summerlin. Our great relationships with the world's largest diamond wholesalers and our low overhead saves you hundreds, if not thousands, on your purchase.
With Capriotti's, game day is always extraordinary. Fuel your passion with our award-winning cheesesteaks, in-house oven-roasted turkey, and classic subs. Or create a fan frenzy with our catering trays that are perfect for any crew. At Capriotti's, we deliver extraordinary to you.
Now let's check in on Raiders social media. It has been a rough season for the Silver and Black, and Raider Nation is not holding back with expressing their feelings on how things have gone. There's still a lot of football to be played, but a shot at the postseason looks bleak. But let's focus on some social media fun though. Let's check out Raiders superfan Gorilla Rilla snapping it up with a member of Raider Nation with the logo tattooed on her stomach. That is commitment to excellence. And Allegiant Stadium always brings out the celebrities. So who was in attendance for Sunday's game? The mayor of Flavortown himself, Guy Fieri. And congratulations to linebacker Blake Martinez on his retirement. Mid-season retirements aren't typical, but here's hoping Blake enjoys time with his family and collects many more Pokemon cards.
Cassie Soto back with you, and I am joined by Raiders beat writer for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Vinny Bonsignor. Vinny, at 2-7, it's obvious that frustrations are growing within the organization and especially in the locker room. And it's not usual that players will point fingers, but you recently wrote an article over at lvrj.com that fans can read, where sources told you that some of that frustration is stemming from tight end Darren Waller and his lack of effort, really.
Yeah, it's just, basically, getting on the field. Like, it's time to get on the field. And Darren Waller obviously is going to miss at least three more games, being on an injured reserve. So it's kind of a moot point right now. But I think the fact that he's even landed on IR right now, after missing, 4 games prior to that, and really 5 games when you count just playing 8 plays against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's some players in that locker room that are like, need you out there, and he's not out there. And it would be one thing if the Raiders were winning in spite of not having Darren Waller, but they're doing the complete opposite of that. And that's what really opens up, things like this, where, 4 weeks ago when he first got hurt, obviously, hey, get better, take your time, but time is of the essence, and he misses game after game, week after week, and those losses are piling up. And meanwhile, guys are doing everything that they can to be out on the field for their teammates, and seeing one big part of that team not out there over a hamstring injury. It's going to ruffle some feathers, and it has.
Well, while it might not seem like it to fans, the Raiders haven't given up hope just yet, Vinny. In fact, they've gone out and tried to get some help. They've picked up defensive lineman Jerry Tillery off of waivers. Tillery was a former first-round pick for the Chargers back in 2019. How do you see him coming in and maybe helping out this struggling Raiders defense?
Well, to be perfectly honest, he automatically becomes the Raiders' best interior pass rusher. Crazy enough for a player that was just put on waivers, but there were some extenuating circumstances in Los Angeles that kind of expedited that process. Jerry wants to be somebody that plays a lot, feels that he's good enough too. He was kind of falling behind in the play time with some younger players that the Chargers had brought in. So this really wasn't like, ideally the Chargers hold on to him at least for the rest of this season, as somebody that gives him some positive snaps, but he wants more. It sounds like he kind of made that pretty clear. So I think the Chargers just felt, okay, at this point, it's best to go ahead and part ways and let Jerry go find a better situation for himself. And that might be in here with Las Vegas with the Raiders, because as I said, he is a pretty darn good pass rusher from the inside. And I think he's going to show Raider Nation that pretty quickly, and the Raiders that pretty quickly. Just a matter now of getting him on the field. And this what it ultimately becomes is a audition now for Jerry Tillery to show that he could be a part of things moving forward. I think from the Raiders' perspective, yes, he could definitely help them some this year. But I think from the decision makers' point of view, it's, can he help us moving down the road beyond this year? And so he's got a big opportunity over these next, however many weeks, 9 weeks left in the season, for him to show that he could be part of a solution moving forward.
We appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Vegas Nation Blitz. For more Raiders news, you can always head on over to vegasnation.com and be sure to check out Vegas Nation Game Day on Saturday morning. The Raiders are back on the road and will head to Denver to look for the season sweep over the Broncos. For our entire Vegas Nation crew, I'm Cassie Soto. We'll see you soon.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Blitz. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.